Hello, greetings, hi, how are you? So, sorry about my dogs barking in this, but today I wanted to do a video that's not like any other video on my channel. I wanted to talk about this setup, which for those drummers out there, and I'm sure most of the people watching these are drummers, this is a Zildjian L80 low volume drum setup with Remo Silentstroke heads. Everything on it is awesome because you could literally talk and play the drums. It's really awesome. It's, in my opinion, the best drum innovation that has ever occurred, even from when drums have been, even since the beginning, when drums were, literally pioneered into our society. This innovation is the best thing ever because electric kits, they are cool. They're cool. I like them. You could get different sounds out of them and all that, but there's nothing in the world like playing an acoustic drum set. It just feels so good. It feels so natural. Then you go on and play an electric kit and it feels, to me, it's like all tense, it's small, it's weird. I don't like them. So a really good alternative is this. This is, like I said, the Silentstroke heads, which is basically, if you could see, just a Remo head, except it's mesh. What these heads really are is they are literally the mesh drum heads you find on Roland series electronic drum kits. These drum heads are very, very similar to normal drum heads. In fact, you can see this is what obviously a normal drum head looks like. And obviously, like I said, these are what these look like. You could see through them a little bit. And like I said, the bounce is very similar, but I've noticed that I guess it's from the mesh or something. These heads are definitely bouncier than a normal drum head. Like if I'm hitting a tom on a normal drum head, it's a little bit more reserved, and I'm not getting as much of a bounce. But on these, I get a gigantic bounce on all of them, especially like a bigger one. I don't really understand exactly the science behind that, but if someone wants to describe it, go right ahead. So, one of the things that I really like about these, as I've mentioned, is they are very, very quiet. But there's a few things I don't like about them. In fact, there's two. The number one, and to me the most important thing, is this. I know that's not something you would really do with your drums unless you wanted to make a weird beat, but there's something about the fact that these are mesh heads, and I'll be doing a fill and I'll slide to the other drum or something, and when I slide it goes kind of and you hear it, and it gets annoying. It doesn't happen all the time, but say I'm doing something fast, around the kit, sometimes you'll hear it, and that bothers me, but it's not the end of the world. That's just one of the cons. You're going to get that with mesh, so there's not much you could really do about that. But the other con, and I'd imagine this is going to take a few generations of these to get right, and like I said, this is my favorite innovation ever. So I'm not hating on these things because I have a lot of negatives to say about these too. But that doesn't mean I'm hating on them. That's just constructive criticism. But like I was saying, the other negative is the tonalities that you get out of these heads. They're not the best. They're good, but I don't know, I feel like they could be improved. I would think that it's maybe the kit I'm on, but I also want to be able to hear where I'm tuning. And I'll tune the batter head high up, and you can't really tell the difference that much between high tuning and low tuning. It's subtle and it's noticeable, but it's not that much. Now, I do want to show you, I have the snare wire down right now, but you do get a really nice snare out of it if you put it on, so I'll show you. So you get something good. On to the cymbals now, though. So these cymbals are awesome, and I think they sound really good, really good. But there is definitely a lot we could talk about here. I think the most important thing that I want to talk about with these is the fact that they only come from Zildjian. And that goes the same with the heads. I forgot to mention that in the comments. But the technology is too new. I don't know where the patent issue stands. I said patent tissue. I don't know where the patenting issue stands. Where I don't know if Zildjian has the rights to make these and no one else does. I don't know how that works. But what I do know is they should not be reserved to one company. If you look at the seatbelt, it was a great piece of technology. I think Volkswagen made it. It was a great piece of technology. In fact, it was so great that Volkswagen let every other company use it because it was just such an important thing. I mean, obviously this isn't a seatbelt, but it's still such an important innovation in drumming because I'm in a townhouse, I'm playing, and I'm playing it a lot less of the volume. But that whole thing is something we'll talk about towards the end of the video, the whole playing in a townhouse. But these. So, the hi-hats sound amazing. They're crisp, they're nice. They sound really good, but they only come in one size. Actually, no, they come in two sizes. They come in a 13, depending on the models you get. But these sound really nice. That's what they sound like. And interestingly enough, there is no classification between what head is the top and the bottom head on these. And honestly, they're like literally the same exact hat. They're like almost exactly the same in pitch. So I'd imagine they're the same weight, and I'd imagine these are all made computerized instead of hand hammered and like hand lathed. So I'd imagine they're all like almost identical, each individual cymbal pack. But now onto this crash. This is a 16-inch, and it's really nice. It actually sounds good to ride on, believe it or not. That's the one thing I hate about it, and we'll talk about that right after I play all these cymbals, but I really fucking hate with all of these that whenever you hit them, all you hear is the stick. You literally hear more of the stick than you hear the cymbal. And I don't know if you could hear that on the camera because I don't have a professional microphone. I'm just using my camera's microphone. But it's bad. It's really bad. But we'll talk about that in a minute. And now next, onto the crash ride. This is an 18-inch crash ride. Sounds really good as both. So I'll play it for you. Sounds really good. This is definitely the loudest of them, but that's because it's the biggest. But they all sound really good. This whole set does sound really good. Now I do want to talk about the things I really don't like about them, and there are some. And they will change over time. Some I don't think can ever change, but they will change. So, I love them. It's great. But there is no options for them. So you could only get a few packs. Like, I was only able to buy this pack. They don't sell this cymbal individually. They don't sell this cymbal individually. You have to buy them in a pack. And while that's cool and all, what if I had a big drum kit and I didn't want 3 cymbals? Like, or well, 4 technically. What if I didn't want that? What if I wanted like a 20-inch ride and an 18-inch crash? Like, I'm not a big fan of 16-inch cymbals. It works for this Sonar Martini kit because it's a small kit and it looks bigger than it is. But I'm not a fan of that size. What if I wanted a bigger cymbal? Like, they really should make a 20-inch, but I think the reason they don't is because the 18-inch is already really loud. Or not really loud, but louder than the other bunch. I don't know if I could test that or not, but it's noticeable. I don't know if you could hear that or not. But that's one of my biggest complaints, is there is no versatility. It's one setup and that's it. That's it. It bothers me that it's like that. And like the biggest thing, like I mentioned earlier, is the fact that these are only made by Zildjian. I don't like Zildjian, to be quite honest, but I love Zildjian for making these. I'm a Meinl drummer, and I prefer Meinl cymbals. Like, it would be really cool to see a Meinl low volume, or a Sabian low volume, or any low volume. It'd be really cool to see. And that's just something that I thought was annoying about these, is that they only really come with this. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, which I mentioned earlier with this crash, is there is good stick definition on these, but it's way too good. It's like, you hear every single hit. Your stick is making more of the noise than the frickin' cymbal, especially on the hi-hats. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but it's loud. It's literally like, at least over on my end, it's really bad. This crash is terrible with it too. But I don't know if that can ever change. That's just something that I don't like. It's very annoying, in my opinion, because I want to play, but there's nothing you could really do about that. Yeah, those are a few of the things that I don't like. And one more thing that I'm not a big fan of is I don't like that these are more of a traditional finish. And if you get up close and look at them, which I don't think you could see here, it's almost like these were sanded. This isn't like a traditional finish. Like, if you get to see these up close, and maybe I'll have a video of zooming in up a little bit closer, but these are more like a sparkle. I don't know how to describe it. It's like these were sanded almost. I would have liked to have seen them made the way the Gen 16s were made, wherein they were like buffed. I would have loved to have seen that, because this look is just ugly. They get really dirty, in my opinion. Like, I had black sticks, and you could see every frickin' mark from those black sticks on these already, and I've only had them for like a month, and that's annoying to me. But that's pretty much it with the cymbals. Like I said, this is my favorite thing ever created. I don't even like Zildjian, and these are my favorite cymbals ever created. But there's a lot that they could do with them, and it's their first year doing this, so that's my constructive criticism. It's really not me complaining. It's just some constructive criticism. It will change over time. Can't change the stick definition, though. That can. It's just metal and wood. You can't do that. But now I want to switch focuses over to what these drums sound like in my house. I live in a townhouse, and the drumming is literally a huge percent less of the volume, but it's still loud. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a quick video of me playing, like, in this room, which I'm going to roll in a minute, and then I'm going to do a video of what it sounds like downstairs. So here, I'm going to let the video roll right now of me playing. Okay, so as you could hear, the camera was like a foot away. It wasn't that far away. And it was a nice volume. But now let's go downstairs, and I want to show you. This was with my door open, though. But I do want to show you that it still is loud downstairs. So I wanted to show you that. So I'm going to roll that now and come back. Okay, so now that you've heard that, you can at least hear that it's not muted. If you put it in a room on the bottom floor, it would probably be a little less noisy, but since this is a hollow floor, you're going to hear more noise. That's just expected. So that's something with it being up here, is it's hollow and it's louder, and I had the door open when I filmed that, but I did want to give what it sounds like when I'm just home living my life and playing. So that's a big thing. Now, the last thing I wanted to do, which is probably the most impractical thing, is I wanted to show you what a drum cover, like me playing to a song, would sound like. if I used them. So what I did is I used the song Redbone from Childish Gambino's new album, Awaken My Love, and I just played on top of it for a few minutes. I'm not going to do the whole song, I just wanted to show you what it sounds like. It's just of me doing a little beat, and I wanted you to hear what that sounds like, so I'm going to roll that clip now. Okay, so now you got the whole spectrum. You heard my drums, you heard my setup, and as I've talked about, there is downsides to these. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as I've said now 10 times in this video, this is my favorite innovation of all time. So I'm glad we have these, but I'd like to see what we could do with them in the future. There's more companies, more potential. I'd love to see Evans heads of this. Aquarian does something similar, but they're not drum heads, they just go on top of the drums. I'd love to see something like that in the future. So we'll see what happens. I hope they really do expand upon these, because this is a brilliant idea. But yeah, if you liked this video, be sure to stick around in the future. I can't promise I'll have a lot of drum content on this channel, but we'll see what happens. If you guys like this, maybe I'll do some more stuff. But if you like this, let me know with a thumbs up or, subscribe. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.